You call yourself an entrepreneur, but you're really just a high-paid employee of your own company. Real elites don't grind for 2x results. They architect systems for 10x growth. I've scaled multiple businesses to 7 figures, launched a SaaS valued at 20 million plus, and built a private network of elite founders across 3 continents. But I was once exactly where you are, stuck in 2x thinking, grinding 40 hours per day, obsessing over monthly gross revenue, until I learned what real elites do differently. The shift didn't happen overnight. I took a complete mental breakdown, a major issue with my main software, a collapsed agency, and a realization that nearly destroyed me. I was optimizing for mediocrity while calling it success. In this video, I will show you why 2x thinking keeps you trapped as an operator in your own business, and how 10x thinking transforms you into an architect of real wealth. This isn't motivational garbage. This is the exact framework that took me from anxious hustler to elite founder. Most young founders play small. They think, double my revenue, double my team. This is 2x logic, and it's killing your potential. Here is what 2x thinking looks like. You are making money, you want more. So you work more hours, hire another A player, launch one more service, maybe run more ads. Result, you hit a ceiling because your system is built to survive, not explode. You work more, optimize a bit, recruit a bit. It's incremental, not exponential. You are stuck in what I call the hustle hamster wheel. And I see this everywhere. In Dubai meetups, in online masterminds, in Miami events. Founders obsessing over Stripe dashboards. Making good money, but feeling broke. Because they're optimizing a system that will eventually implode. They flex Rolexes on Instagram while having panic attacks about client retention. They post about financial freedom while being slaves to their notifications. Their money is growing, but their life is shrinking. And here is the brutal truth. The higher you climb with 2x thinking, the harder you fall. Because you never build foundations. You just stack optimization on top of optimizations. Real freedom doesn't come from 2x. It comes from 10x. And 10x requires a completely different operating system. Most founders aim for 2x because it seems logical and safe. But it's exactly what locks them into mediocrity. Here is why. When you aim for 2x, you can keep 80% of your current setup. Same customers, same behaviors, same mindset, same limiting beliefs. Just minor adjustments. You tell yourself, I will just optimize my funnel a bit more, hire one more person, maybe raise my prices 20%. It feels productive. It feels safe, but it's death by 1,000 paper cuts. But 10x, that requires eliminating 80% of what you do now, focusing only on the 20% that brings exponential value. It forces you to think like a different person entirely. The concept comes from the book 10x is easier than 2x. And it's just not theory. It's how every elite founder I know operates. They don't ask, how can I do this better? They ask, should I be doing this at all? When I started, I thought doubling my income each year was huge. I was in pure grind mode, working every day, executing endless tasks, head down, grinding hard. I remember those days clearly. Waking up at 6 a.m., checking Telegram, responding to emails, managing my team, putting out fires, going to bed at midnight, exhausted but feeling productive. I had built everything around one major client. She was pushing us 70k per month profit. I thought I was smart. I optimized everything around her needs. Our entire system revolved around keeping her happy. When she left, everything collapsed. Not just revenue, the entire infrastructure I would build, the team I would hire specifically for a project, the systems I optimized for her workflow, gone in one email. That night, I sat in my flat in Dubai, staring at my bank accounts. I had money saved, but I felt completely lost. I realized I wasn't building a business. I was just patching together a sophisticated freelance operation. That's when it hit me. 2x is optimization. 10x is construction. I had spent 2 years optimizing instead of constructing. And optimization without foundation always collapsed. I had to accept the hard truth. I wasn't building. I was just patching a system that will explode the moment any component failed. The real transformation came when I started building assets, not just working more. Instead of chasing clients, I created a Telegram community in SaaS. Instead of depending on one revenue stream, I built multiple systems. The community started small, maybe 50 people, but it gave me something I never had before: credibility, contacts, and leverage. When I shared insights, people listened. When I mentioned opportunities, people reached out. When I needed connections, they were there. This wasn't just another task on my to-do list. This was asset creation. The community grew without me grinding. It provided value while I slept. It connected me with people I will never reach through cold outreach. That's the difference between 2x and 10x thinking. 2x thinks, what can I do more of? 10x thinks, what can I build that works without me? Look at your current work right now. Be honest. 80% of it is just making you look busy, responding to emails, managing details, optimizing tiny pieces of a system that isn't designed to scale. Focus on the 20% that creates a real value. That's your 10x path. But identifying that 20% requires brutal honesty. Ask yourself these questions. If I could only work 10 hours a week, what would I focus on? What activities directly create enterprise value, not just daily cash flow? What would I need to eliminate to grow from current revenue to 10x without working more? Most founders can't answer this question because they are too busy being busy to think strategically. Are you building a business that works without you, or are you still chained to your laptop, optimizing for scraps while calling it entrepreneurship? Here is the test. If you disappeared for 3 months, will your business grow or die? If the answer is die, you are not an entrepreneur. You are a high-paid employee of your own company. By the way, if you are stuck at that plateau and don't know your next move, DM me on Instagram. The link is in the description. I reply personally to founders ready to think bigger. Not everyone is ready for this conversation, but if you are, let's talk. If your circle aims for 2x, you will stay limited to their selling. This isn't motivational nonsense. This is mathematical reality. Your peer group determines your questions. Your questions determine your actions. Your actions determine your results. Founders who think 10x don't ask, how do I work more? They ask, how do I go from current revenue to 10x without sacrificing my life? This type of question only appears when you're challenged by peers who think at a different level. If everyone around you is grinding for 2x results, you will never ever consider 10x possibilities. My biggest mental shift came through changing my circles. And I want to be specific about this because it wasn't just networking. It was strategic circle elevation. I started with people doing 100K a month. Good people, but their conversations were predictable. Clients' problem, team issues, revenue optimization. The same challenges, different faces. Then I upgraded to 1 million a month founders. Different energy completely. They talked about systems, leverage, market positioning. Their problems were architectural, not operational. Today, I spend time with people doing tens into hundreds of millions per year. The conversations are on another planet. They think in decades, not quarters. They see industries, not niches. I remember joining a private event in Dubai. High investment just to attend. 3 days with founders I would only see on podcasts. The first day, I felt like a fraud. These guys were discussing regulatory changes that will affect entire industries, global economic shifts, geopolitical trends. My whole circles talk about taxes and accounting. These guys talk about which countries to get citizenship in based on upcoming tax policies. My whole circles complain about hiring good A players. These guys discussed which industries will exist in 10 years. The precision was incredible. They could take ultra complex subjects and explain them with disarming simplicity and confidence. That confidence comes from strategic mastery, from seeing the game from 30,000 feet. I imported their mindset, seeing things in macro, not micro, looking at global dynamics instead of just optimizing my SaaS metrics. This vision, I will never had it without changing my circle. And the opportunities were concrete, not just inspiration. Real intros to VCs to raise millions. The opportunity itself will never have existed without this network. Investment opportunities in industries I will never heard of. Partnership possibilities with companies doing 8 to 9 figures. At each meeting, I felt a mix of fear, discomfort, but extreme excitement. I will live with dozens of ideas I could never have generated alone. The contrast was shocking. My whole circles had surface conversations. The same problems on repeat. How do I scale my team? Should I raise my prices? What's working for targeting? My new circles. Deep vision, precision. Which regulatory changes will create the biggest opportunities next year? How do emerging markets affect our industry? What's the 10-year play here? Old circles, survival thinking. New circles, expansion thinking. Old circles, monthly goals. New circles, generational wealth. Old circles, competing locally. New circles, dominating globally. Evaluate your current circle honestly. Are they pushing you toward 10x or keeping you comfortable at 2x? Here is a simple test. What do your conversations focus on? If it's tactics, problems, and optimizations, you are in a 2x circle. If it's strategy, opportunities, and vision, you are in a 10x circle. You need people who make you uncomfortable, who challenge your small thinking, who ask you questions that reveal your limitations. But here is the hard part. You have to earn access to these circles. You can't just buy your way in. You need to bring value, demonstrate thinking, show you belong. Who in your current circle will actually save you if everything collapses tomorrow? Not with advice, with actual resources, connections, and opportunities. If that list is short or empty, you don't have a network. You have acquaintances. And acquaintances don't create 10x opportunity. Aiming 2x means staying an operator in your business. Aiming 10x means becoming an architect of systems. You cannot scale linearly. A system designed for 100K a month will explode if you try to push it at 1 million without complete reconstruction. This is where most founders fail. They try to scale their 2x systems to 10x results, like trying to drive a motorcycle on a highway built for bicycles. It doesn't work. Linda, the real estate agent from the book, 10x is easier than 2x, proves this perfectly. She started making 3K her first month, doing everything herself. Classic 2x thinking, work more, make more. When she hired an assistant for $350 a week, she doubled her income in 1 year, aiming for 10x thinking instead of 2x. Not because she worked more, because she eliminated 80% of her tasks and focused on the 20% that created real value. She stopped doing paperwork, logistics, and scheduling. This task consumed 80% of her time, but created maybe 10% of her value. Her assistant handled all that. Linda focused on serving clients directly, high-value work only. When I was in 2x mode, I did everything. Managed the team, watched every detail, review every deliverable. Permanent firefighter mode. I thought this was being responsible. It was actually being afraid. When one process broke, everything collapsed because I had no structure to support anything beyond basic operations. I was the bottleneck disguised as a solution. The big cracks forced me to rethink everything. A major software issue that could have killed my product overnight. The agency collapsed when 3 major clients left in the same week. These weren't setbacks, they were wake-up calls. These moments taught me 10x isn't optional, it's necessary. Because 2x systems are fragile by design. They depend on everything working perfectly, and nothing works perfectly forever. My first radical decision after the collapse, no matter the task, I do it myself until I understand it completely. No more procrastination, no more delegation without comprehension, because each delay puts you 3 moves behind your industry. But I didn't just grind harder, I built real systems while I worked. Every task I completed, I documented. Every process I ran, I systematized. Every decision I made, I created criteria for. This wasn't busy work. This was architecture, building the foundation for 10x scale. Example, my free academy. In 2x mode, I did everything. Created content, managed students, handled support, moderated discussions. I was the academy. Today, I have a team managing editing, moderation, support, team creation, and project management. The academy runs without me. Students get faster responses. Content gets produced consistently. I focus on strategy and growth. That's 10x structure. Not just people helping me. Autonomous systems that create value independently. This transformation took me 2 months of building while executing. But now, the academy scales without my daily involvement. I can disappear for a month and it gets better, not worse. This connects to what Bill Gates said. Filling every second of your calendar doesn't make you a better leader. Most founders confuse being busy with being important. Look at elite leaders like Elon Musk. He talks about developments with valuation in tens of multiples. He never focuses on short-term profits. He leaves operational details to his team of experts. Why? Because leaders think in systems and leverage. Managers think in tasks and optimization. You cannot build 10x results with 2x leadership. 2x leadership is micromanagement, disguised as involvement. 10x leadership is vision and systems. Look at your current structure on FT. What will break if you try to 10x tomorrow? Those are the systems you need to rebuild now. Don't hire someone to help you a bit. Hire them to own entire functions. Don't delegate tasks, delegate outcomes. Ask yourself, what am I doing that someone else could own completely? Which processes will break if I disappeared for 3 months? Be brutally honest. Most of what you do daily isn't 10x work. It's 2x optimization that feels important but creates minimal value. What's more important right now? Looking busy with 2x optimizations that make you feel productive, or breaking everything to build for 10x scale that actually creates freedom? If you keep your current path, where will you be in 5 years? Still jumping between Airbnbs? Still anxious about Stripe notifications? Still calling 60-hour weeks entrepreneurship? Here is the question that separates 2x from 10x thinkers. Who in your circle will actually save you if everything collapsed tomorrow? Not with sympathy or advice, with actual resources, connections, and opportunities that will rebuild your life in months, not years. If that list has fewer than 3 names, you are not building for 10x. You are optimizing for 2x, while hoping for different results. Most founders spend their time with people who validate their current thinking. 10x founders spend time with people who challenge their limitations and expand their possibilities. What kind of legacy are you building? One that collapses when you stop working, or one that grows stronger without your daily involvement? The choice you make today determines whether you are still grinding 5 years from now, or finally living like the elite founder you always wanted to become. And understand this. Working less doesn't mean being weak. It means being smarter and building systems. At first, I thought working less than others will put me behind. But the truth is, if you build better systems, you get better vision. You start thinking as slaves. Meanwhile, founders stuck in 2x trap are slaves. When you are stronger because you work less, only focus on 2 to 3 things: creating businesses, striking deals, building partnerships. Working less doesn't mean not working at all. It's shifting hours into leverage. Hours and leverage are not the same thing. So don't let yourself think you are weak because that's the wrong lens to view it. Here is the truth most founders won't accept. 2x is an illusion. You are not building toward freedom. You are running toward a wall while calling it progress. 10x isn't about working more. It's about 3 fundamental shifts. First, eliminating the 80% that keeps you busy but doesn't create exponential value. Most of your daily tasks are just sophisticated procrastination. Second, building systems that scale without you, not optimization that require you. Every hour you spend on tasks someone else could own is an hour stolen from your 10x thinking. Third, surrounding yourself with people who think 10 moves ahead, not 10 days ahead. Your circle doesn't just influence your mindset, it determines your ceiling. The question isn't how do I do a bit more? That's 2x thinking. The question is what must I break and rebuild to aim 10x? That's architect thinking. Most founders will stay trapped in 2x optimization. They will keep tweaking funnels, keep grinding longer hours, keep hitting the same ceiling while wondering why success feels empty. But elite founders know the secret. 10x is easier than 2x because it forces you to focus on what matters, to build instead of patch, to think like an architect instead of operate like an employee. The systems you build today determine the freedom you have tomorrow. Stop optimizing for survival. Start building for explosion. I help young founders break through the 2x trap and start building for 10x. Not through more work, but through better systems, elite circles, and strategic thinking that actually creates freedom. If you are tired of optimizing for scraps and ready to architect real wealth, DM me on Instagram. The link is in the description. I reply personally to every message. I share real opportunities privately, investment deal, private event invitation, strategic partnerships, things I never post publicly because they are not for everyone. Only a few people get into my private circle each quarter. The application process is selective because 10x results require 10x commitment. If you want to be considered, send me a message with your current situation and where you want to be in 12 months. Don't send me your resume, send me your vision because vision separates architects from operators. Remember, build for 10x, not for hype. This channel is about helping founders reach the elite level through strategic thinking, not tactical grinding. The next video will show you exactly how to identify the 20% that create real value in your business and eliminate everything else. Subscribe if you are ready to stop playing small, because 10x thinking changes everything. And everything starts with your next decision. Stick around if you are ready to think like an architect instead of operate like an employee.